all about. And the best way to deal with these ignorant motherfuckers is really probably just best to ignore them because they're gonna keep doing this stuff. See, they're gonna keep doing it because they're trying to do what they can to build up their damn popularity, their money. It's like that Nigerian. What's that Nigerian that be dancing all up in videos?
Yeah, the one that be dancing all the time.
Yeah, Gorilla Madilla or whatever you call his damn son. Yeah, that one right there. That be all up in videos dancing and shit. You can't stop them from doing the ignorant shit. So really, the best thing to do is ignore them because if you ignore them, then you're taking away that attention that they trying to get. See, they trying to get that because they trying to build up a popularity, and really what they trying to do is build up that popularity on the backs of Black Americans. See, so that's why we as Black Americans we got to ignore these motherfuckers, man.
Oh yeah, you true. What you saying is absolutely true, Professor, as well too. And like I said, I had a run in with Tommy Sotomayor, and it was on one of Tariq's posts. Now you know him and Tariq, like I say, for years we're going back. I mentioned that in the space yesterday. They were going back and forth. I think they were cool at one time, and they must have had some kind of falling out or whatever. You know, Tariq used to do videos on him and gave him the nickname Crispy and all that other stuff. And you know, they had a Tariq pulled up on him. I think when he was at Vlad, he was at Vlad's studios. Vlad was interviewing him or whatever. So he was in one of Tariq's. It was a comment, and he was in one of Tariq's comments, and he was saying something. And I'm like, and he was talking about, yeah, well, Tariq called me Crispy and this and that. I guess so. So that by him being called Crispy, that's supposed to make up for him always. Because every time the Joker, you know, he speak about Black women, it's bitch this, bitch that, bitch, it's bitch all the time or whatever. So. And my thing was like, and I told him like, dude, I'm like, this has been how many years ago was that went by? Like, you still talking about that? And I was like, why don't you have the same anger, the same energy for white folks that you have for Black folks and this and that or whatever? And then, you know, some of his minions started coming in there talking about it or whatever. But like your whole, and then he's sitting up here trying to lie to me. I told him like, man, your audience is white that you catering to. Yeah, you don't know that damn thing. Prove that my audience is white. That I'm like, I don't got to prove anything. Like, first off, the average Black man don't walk around with no damn MAGA shirt on and MAGA hats and all this other MAGA crap that you walk around with, dude. So that in itself is proof. Yeah, are there Black people that support Trump? Yeah, but the vast majority of Black people that and the ones that do support him not walking around with all this MAGA gear on and this and that. I remember he was at a restaurant one time, and he was this Black waitress and true enough, the Black waitress kind of caught an attitude with him because he did have on this MAGA gear, whatever, and this and that or whatever. But, you know, at the same time, Black people, I don't see Black people walking around wearing MAGA sweatshirts and MAGA hats and this and that or whatever, because this whole Make America Great type thing or whatever, like exactly what era was America great? And during that era that America was great, how was Black people being treated in this great country? You know, that's one thing if you ask one of these MAGA people, okay, tell me what time frame was America great? They can tell you that time frame. Then you ask them, okay, well, how were Black people being treated in this country? Now, then they're going to either come up with some just complete nonsense. Well, you know, Black people weren't treated that bad, or they'll just come up with some crap they'll just totally make up or whatever. So, yeah, man, like I said, this dude blocked me because he talked about I can come onto his platform. And I said, well, you can come on to this platform right here, whatever. And I gave him the time slot to let him know, hey, you can come on up in here. This joker had a space a couple weeks ago. And I tried to put it in the Jumbotron, but I couldn't get it up in the Jumbotron. And let me put it up in here like this joker had a space and Black natives, and I saw it too. He's like, the first one space he had was, why do Blacks keep begging for reparations from whites? Then he had another one talk about why he asked him about are blacks are intellectually inferior to whites. Prove me wrong. Now, don't sit up here and say that, hey, you don't have any ill will towards Black people and you don't look down on here, because what Black man in their right mind is going to post something like that saying that Black people are intellectually inferior to white folks? Unless you have some deep-seated hatred towards Black people. You have to. I saw a video that Tommy, like I say, Black natives sent. It was older video. The cat had a video and he was talking about niggas that, you know, niggas need to be killed and this and that. The niggas on the street need to be killed. Niggas need to be murdered. Niggas need to be this. Niggas. Okay, he's nigga all the way up. He's talking about that 80% of the crimes in this country are committed by black people, which is a damn lie. There's no stat that can prove to you that 80% of the crimes in this country are committed by black people. And I guess it was some incident. I don't know if this was around the time he was playing a knockout game and a white lady got slapped. He was saying that the white lady, he was talking about when he started going to Democracy. This is why you can't get rid of the Second Amendment. We need to make sure we keep our guns because that. So you see, she should have went ahead and she should have shot that nigga down and this and that or whatever, and that you wouldn't have that issue. And he like, when I'm walking in the neighborhood, I walk in a white neighborhood, I'm not thinking about being attacked by a white person, but it's when I'm in a black neighborhood that I worry about being attacked by a black person. I worry about being shot by a black person. I worry about being robbed by a black person. He like, you can't go nowhere without somebody, a black person shooting you, robbing you, killing you. He like, and another thing, and this came straight out of his mouth. Another thing I'm tired about is hearing black people talk about, oh, we built this country. We built this country. You built this country simply because you were slaves and white people ordered you to build it. You couldn't have built nothing on your own. This is coming out of this Negro mouth right here. You couldn't have built nothing. If it had just been up to you, it would have been a crap hole just like any other place. You built it because white people ordered you to build it. And I'm sitting up here and you just sitting up here listening to this dude right here. Just nonsense after nonsense. White folks, you had all kind of townships in this country right after slavery that black people themselves built up with no help from white folks, built it up on their own. And these townships was thriving and they got burnt right down to the ground. Hell, if you want to be honest, even after after Haiti had its war with France, Haiti was thriving until you started having outside interference from France and the U.S. and these other nations that brought them down. You know, plus they had internal conflict, which these people escalated. But to sit up here and say that basically that no black person could build anything unless you was a slave and white people ordered you, and you sitting up here saying that 80% of the crime is done by black people, and that you should just go ahead and like you just shoot a nigga on sight and all kind of just ridiculous stuff, just stuff that, man, and if you having titles about that talk about black people are intellectually inferior to white folks, then don't sit up here and say somebody's making it up. This is what you feel, dude. You feel this. This is in your heart. This is how you feel about black people. And any and everything in your life that has gone wrong, or is not perfect, then you put the blame on black women. Everything is about black women. I saw another video black native sent me. He got in an accident with a black woman. And every word came out of his mouth of this black. That's why I'm filming you, you black bitch. I'm filming you, bitch. You see this? That's why I can't stand a black bitch. I can't stand every single solitary word. Him and the woman, they got in, but before the woman could even, don't come near me. That's why I'm filming. Don't worry about what I'm doing, you black bitch. That's why I hate black bitches to this day. Every single solitary thing out old boy mouth was black bitch this, black bitch that. Short video. I don't know who was responsible for the accident or whatever, because I didn't quite see it, but the minute like that black woman, they got the car and, she came up to him or whatever. And they had a little argument, but everything that came out this dude's mouth was black bitch this, black bitch that, yada, 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 yada. I mean, nobody can sit up and tell me that this dude is not doing this for clicks. He's not doing this for acceptance. He's not doing this for Scooby snacks. He's on his hind legs with his tongue out wagging his tail to go ahead and get fed by his zaddy. This is what he's all about right here, sitting up here. If he was serious, he had the platform, he could really go ahead and do some change and do something like that. But since he's booted off of YouTube, now he's on Twitter, and now he's trying to, and he knows we know it's a bunch of pecker necks on Twitter. So he'll definitely find that fan base on here to go ahead and pump him up as well, too. So he's got to try to go ahead and supplement it. He can't make that money on YouTube anymore, but he can definitely make it on Twitter. So he's going ahead and he's got his spaces. And the fact he said, well, let me make as many as offensive spaces as I possibly can to go ahead and get some of these real MAGAs to come up in here, some of these real white wing nationalists, neo-Nazi type people coming up in here. Because when I read some of his comments on the video where he was talking about the niggas need to be killed and niggas, 80% of niggas this and niggas that, and it'd be better and yada yada yada, and who raised these sorry niggas? Black women raised these niggas right here. So, and you should have read the comments that they was leaving. I mean, the comments and these was pure white folks right here talking about, finally, a black man speaking truth right here. This is a black man I can respect right here. Yes, finally, a black man speaking truth. I can understand that. Great job. Like, if only so many more black people would actually speak truth and take accountability, like you're saying, Tommy. Great job. Like, I didn't even know it was a black man out there that could actually speak truth like this right here. Good job, Tommy. And this is what he lives for. He lives so he can.
Let me say, Newstoter, let me cut you off, but this motherfucker, when I saw these videos of him just saying black bitch, this is just somebody I'd just like to take out right now and kick him right in the goddamn teeth. That's what I like to do, kick his teeth down his throat. Because you sitting up there calling sisters black bitches, black bitches, black bitches. But I would love to see you come to a man and talk to us like that. That's what I want you to do, Tommy Sotomayor or Sotomayor or whatever your name is. Come talk to a man that way. Approach a man and say, you black bitch. I like for you to do that to me. See, that's what I want you to do, because you seem to like to approach women. See, this is what makes me sick. A punk nigga that approaches women and talk to women like they ain't shit. That's what he does. He approaches women. He can't approach a man. So prove to me, Tommy Sotomayor, or bitch, whatever your name is, approach a man that way. That's what I want you to do. I'm gonna land right there. Sorry, Newstoter. I've been watching these videos, man. I think it's atrocious.
Oh no, you good.
Women like that.
No, you good. Like I say, I was just because it's been a minute since I watched it. I had to, I watched some of his videos back in the day, and sometimes I just can't take this stuff here. Like, some people, if you're a diehard liberal, I have a hard time stomaching that stuff. If you're a diehard a right-wing conservative black person as well too, I have a hard time, because you definitely licking boots right here. I mean, the liberals bad enough, but you definitely want to go ahead and show these people that you're an asset to them as well too. So I have a hard time listening to it, and this joker just goes on and on. Yeah, knock that bitch out. Yeah, I don't care. God damn it, the bitch deserves to die just like anybody else. I'm like, yo, like, like, bruh, like, I mean, I understand, I understand defending yourself or whatever and this and that, but I mean, this dude, the rants and just the actual, this dude hates black people in general. He detests black women, but black men ain't far off either. He detests black women. It's no ifs, ands, or questions about that. He detests them. He can't stand them. For any shortcoming in his life that he has failed, it's a black woman's fault. But let me tell you something right here. He is not a fan of black men either. No black man worth his salt is going to sit up here and make a damn space sitting up here. Forget even the reparation thing. No black man, with all of the stuff that we've had to deal with about our brains being smaller than white folks, and these IQ tests, and us being the dumbest race on earth, and our brains and this and that and all this other stuff about our cranium and our ability to absorb information. And hell, we've seen it, Professor, you and I both know, we hear it in sports growing up. We used to hear it all the time when they used to talk about the white quarterbacks and the black quarterbacks, or when they're talking about a black athlete as compared to a white athlete, a black athlete who's great or whatever. He's just physically gifted. He's physically gifted. He was just naturally blessed. While the white boy, he's a hard worker, and he brings his lunchbox, and he studies his X and O's and all this other nonsense right there. So, just to hear the kind of crap that he's saying, and he's sitting up and you hold a space a couple weeks ago, and you're talking about that blacks are intellectually inferior to whites. Prove me wrong. For a black man to sit up here and talk about prove you wrong. I mean, what? I mean, really, what would be the point of going in this nigga's space to try to prove him wrong when he said? And like I say, a lot of this, I believe, is just for an act, because he wants a dollar at the end of the day. At the end of the day, he wants to get paid. And he knows there's a paying audience out there. He knows there's a bunch of white folks out there that want to say it just as bad as him, but they can't, because this is a so-called, quote unquote, the woke era, the cancel culture. So we got to go ahead and protect ourselves. But we got the perfect mascot to go out here and trot out here. We can stick him in his little bird suit, his magpie suit, and he'll go right out here and he'll say everything that I'm feeling and everything that I think and everything that everybody else that I know feel the same way. He can get away saying it better than we can, and it'll be okay. He's sitting up here with these spaces, and he ain't done making these spaces either. The whole point, the whole, this dude could have came over on YouTube, I'm on Twitter, excuse me, and decided, hey, I'm gonna do another leaf. I'm gonna go ahead, I made my money from YouTube. Let me go ahead and start doing something. But no, he's coming with this same crap on a new platform to go ahead and try to get more subscribers, users, listeners, and everything else, because he knows there's enough people on here. He knows there's enough MAGA, especially with Elon Musk owning it as well now too. He knows that, hey, this is a hotbed for it right here. And let me go ahead and let me put this crap out here, because there's gonna be plenty of guppies that's gonna bite on this bait right here. So let me go ahead. There's a whole bunch of them out here that like exactly what I'm saying. There's no limit to white men who more than anybody else loves to hear that kind of stuff like that. And like I said, those comments, I read some of those comments that and it was all white men, just praising him and thanking him for being truthful and speaking up and all this other nonsense and stuff like that, because he was actually a straightforward black man in their opinion. He's actually telling it how it is. He's actually putting away all the excuses and all the other malarkey that all these other black people want to use and stuff like that. And he's being pinpoint. He's telling that, hey, it ain't you white folks. Y'all ain't doing nothing wrong. It's these niggas up here. If we just get rid of our nigga problem in America, everything will be okay. That's what he's saying. And that's what he was saying in those videos. Let the niggas go by the wayside, and I promise you, this country will be great again. That's what he was saying. Because God forbid, white folks don't commit any crimes. This country that they colonized, it's just by the will of God that they were able to take over. Nobody lost their lives in the process of it. They didn't steal anything. They didn't take anything. They didn't kill anybody. They didn't do anything underhanded. And once they got it, they didn't do anything underhanded to keep it. It was just their sophistication and their wit that allowed them to go ahead and prosper. And anybody else who didn't, well, hey, they just fell by the wayside. So, Phoenix, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and get to you as well. To anybody that wants to speak tonight, go ahead and let me say this before I give it to you, Phoenix. I know we kind of had some issues with some of the comments and stuff like that, guys. We're gonna keep it classy up here with each other. We may disagree on certain topics, and I am going to touch up on Tommy Tuberville as well too. The senator out of Alabama, the gentleman that used to coach the Auburn Tigers, who always has something to say when it comes to black people, especially. So we're going to touch up on that as well too. But I want to go ahead and lead off with Sotomayor and go ahead and get things rolling. But yeah, I know like there's been a lot of things back and forth, and we're going to go ahead. We may disagree up in here, guys, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to let people talk. We're not going to come off our mic. And we definitely not going to insult people up in the space as well, too, and we definitely not going to insult people over a piece of shit like Tommy Sotomayor or Tommy Tuberville, to say the least. So let me just go ahead and lay that down for everybody up in here as well, too, because Tommy Tuberville ain't worth the shit you wash off the bottom of your shoe. Let me go ahead and go to Phoenix, and let me give a shout out to Cognitive, and let me give a shout out to my man Dusty Pookie on YouTube. Nate, you're killing me with this, bro. You need to go back to the Nat. But let me go ahead and we're going to get to the hands up here as well. Like I said, we're going to touch up on old Tommy Tuberville as well, to another white man who done made millions of dollars off of black men and forever running his yap. He done ran up in the Senate, and he's forever talking about this and that with his little coded language about black folks as well, too. So I'm going to get on his ass as well tonight, too. So, Phoenix, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace and love to the room. I just want to speak on the Tommy Sotomayor, because that's where we left off yesterday. And I just want to say, okay, let's just picture this, right? At every turn in history, when we as a collective have, moved forward and made strides, I just reflect back on, in times of maybe slavery, post-slavery, or even when our lands were taken over, when we were indigenous to this land. It was always somebody with I feel the energy of his ancestor on him, and it was the same people that sold us out every time. Every generation's gonna have a few, and they are the few. Now, what needs to happen is that the good people, the collective people, the people who want to elevate and push us forward need to definitely speak up and speak out more, because the implications that's happening is making black women, particularly because we are the ones that are being of this type of rhetoric. So I'm going to always, take my position and try to protect me and mine the best way I can as a woman and remain feminine. But I will do what I need to do. But there's so many ways that we can shut this kind of rhetoric down, and it's very important. If it's not important, forget the gender war shit, all that. That means nothing. It means nothing. Okay, because those are the types of things that can be worked out and DMP like one another. So we're gonna work that out. So nevertheless, look at this and look at the implications and this that it can have. If you're talking about yesterday was Fresh and Fit, 1 million viewers. So that's 1 million people going on and viewing this. Now Tommy got ran off of YouTube. Kwame Brown ran him off, right? He couldn't take it no more. Kwame Brown gave him that work. All I'm saying is that this person, when he looks in the mirror, he cares about none of it. We can try to run him down on Twitter. He's used to that. That's how he plays. He's been ran down all the time. Like you said yesterday, Tariq ran him down at the studio. This is what he does. He doesn't care. So the only way we can make him care, and I mean, I don't know what the thumb is, DJ. I have nothing to say. I was just like wondering. Anyway, we're soft targets. Women and children are soft targets in the streets on many levels. So try to protect us as much as you can, even if it's on Twitter or YouTube or what have you, because we are actually in these streets at grocery stores, driving, going, taking the kids to school, and we're going to work, and we're doing all these things. And so I'm just going to land there. One love.
All right. Thank you, Phoenix. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Callie Love. Callie Love, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Okay, I've been in these spaces probably about 2.5 years, and everybody first, folks just being here talking about people. That guy, I heard him and I've been like listening to him. He just doesn't make sense, and I kind of keep quiet about trying to spill beans about folks. But that's all I'm going to say about him. But Tommy Tuberville, that's what I was mentioning the other day in terms of the California Reparations Task Force. Now, I want to see what type of impact his rhetoric is going to have. And now that we have some of these Indians, or what they call themselves, Native Americans, asking and questioning the reparations for Black Californians. So it's like, now that the money might be getting ready to drop, everybody got something to...
You there, Shizm? You done went blank.
Oh, my phone probably... Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
I think it's whenever you said drop, then all of a sudden you drop. So you can't say drop. You can't say drop.
Okay, because Tommy is just not really in my radar. He's an asshole for real. I heard him talking about that woman. Calling bitches all day. But I'm looking for my money. I ain't worried about Tommy. So it's like, but except for that other Tommy Tuberville, that's the only one. Because I don't need him and his partners figuring out how to get up a lawsuit. And that's what I see coming, because there's too many people who starting to complain about this California reparations for Black folk, and they probably should go sit down. But I see them trying to rev up an engine to try to get a legal case cracking, and I need to worry about that. And Tommy do too much. He do way too much. So him and David Jenkins is supposed to be having a space too. So I don't know when all that's supposed to be happening, but they be battling and going at it, and so I don't know. But I want to find out where my money at. That's my main concern right now.
Absolutely. get no argument with me on that. That's why I want to go ahead and add Tuberville up in this space as well too, because Tuberville, the issue with him is the white nationalists. And you got a bunch of white nationalists. Have a bunch of reports coming out saying that you got a bunch of white nationalists, which we already know in the military and law enforcement. This joker here is trying to downplay it as well too. So that's an issue right there. The people that's supposed to be protecting you and the country and everything else, these people are nationalists, white nationalists. I mean, neo-Nazi, skinhead type folks or whatever. So, and you got a sitting U.S. senator sitting up here trying to tell you that there's no issue with that, and he's trying to redefine what a white nationalist is. So, yeah, throw him up in the equation here as well too with your boy tonight as well too. But thank you, Shism. Let me go ahead and get to Cognitive. Cognitive, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm off today. Shout out to you, Newstoter. I did retweet, for everybody to come to support. I want to start with Tommy Sotomayor. That nigga is a clown. Dude is a clown. I had a debate with him about 2 or 3 weeks ago. My main issue with him is before he blocked me. He disrespects not only black women, he disrespects black men. We definitely need to cancel this individual. You see, he's been in these spaces lately, been coming into reparation spaces because he is seeking clout. And the more and more we ignore this individual, he'll shrivel up and die. See what happened to his YouTube channel? We just got to stop supporting these clowns. On a side note, Tommy Tuberville, I did see that interview. I don't know who that interview person was, but he's outright advocating for white supremacy. As you see more and more that we talk about reparations and tangibles for black American people, you're going to start seeing way more white supremacists come on CNN, Fox, and all these major news stations. This is why we have to support Newstoter. We got to support black American media that is pushing the narrative to change that. And I'll land my plane. Thank y'all.
All right, thank you.
Can I say something real quick, Newstoter? Just real quick.
Let me come back real quick to you. Let me get to Rella real quick, and then I'll get over back to you, Phoenix.
Can I just say this real quick? If you take Tommy Sotomayor out of the title, you're going to get the algorithm. He already got an algorithm. We don't give no more energy. That's all I.
Okay. Let me go ahead and get to Rella. Rella, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, Newstoter.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, DJ Professor. So, I know people have been waiting. Y'all been waiting for me to get up here, and I'm gonna put it to you like this. Tommy Tuberville, and I'm gonna start with Tommy Tuberville because I'm gonna say that degenerate shit last. Tommy Tuberville is the 5th congressional. He's part of the 5th congressional district in Alabama. They have 14.4% poverty rate. We need to start chin checking these fools in social media, as we are utilizing social media to make moves behind the scenes. People need to recognize that the poverty rate in a lot of these Republican-led states are high. Some people don't even realize it because they don't take a look at that stuff. But we give them space to talk because it keeps the focus from the people that live in their district off of the shit that they're doing to their people in their district. So that's how you actually kill a parasite. You treat it. And you give it the medicine it's asking for. And that's the type of time we got to be on. You do not see a lot of the poor whites talking about the conditions of their communities because they're so hell-bent on the patriotism of symbolism. So we need to remind them. While they out here not trying to worry about, what's going on with what we doing and making moves, they so-called representatives is running them into the ground as Americans.
Why aren't they having those conversations in their spaces? Why is it that when they have conversations about what it is that's going on with white folks, they only seem to want to censor someone like a Tommy Sotomayor, a white face walking around, black man walking around in white face. And they ignore all else, everything else they ignore. So Tommy Tuberville needs to be called to the carpet, him and the rest of his cronies, because they're not taking care of Americans in Alabama, and they are not taking care of the people that that voted for them, and they people need to know that. Regardless of what comes out about historical records and reparations, or anybody talking about running for office that is American descendant or black, period. White people in positions of government, of authority, have ruined the country. They are the champions of immigration, because when you look at Texas, and I made this comment before, shout out to Black Majority State. Texas is a majority Hispanic state, has been declared a Hispanic state in effing America that's ran by Republicans. But they'll tell you they'll bring you all the way down talking about you just got to worry about Democrat. No, you got to worry about all of them, because they all stand to benefit. That's why they were shuffling these immigrants like hotcakes in buses, talking about we sending them up to these different areas. No, they was flooding the country, and the Republicans had a hand in it. They just utilized the gateway of the borders. And let's just remember, the borders is not just the southern borders and the northern borders. TSA, people flying in here from other places who are here illegally, staying past their visas, all of that. Tommy Tuberville ain't talking about that. So I'm pretty sure if we look at the immigration rate too, in his district, it'll be high. And he might be married to one, or because they often are. But they don't want you to recognize that either. Now, Tommy Sotomayor, I have to apologize to the family, not on behalf of what I said, because I meant every word that I said, on behalf of the fact that being tagged into some degenerate shit, I'm not doing that shit no more. So please don't tag me no more, DJ, in nothing that has to do with Tommy Sotomayor. I'm good. I understand that is someone that, people support, or you support, or people like.
And please stop saying that. Stop saying that. I don't support him. I don't support none of this manosphere shit. I'm only just talking about it as a living experience. So stop putting words in people's mouth. Not my hero. Not my daddy. None of that.
Go ahead and let her finish real quick.
Thank you. Well, let me finish. Okay, well, let me finish, and you'll be able to respond.
I don't need to respond. I'm just telling you now for the record.
Well, let me finish what I'm saying. If you didn't support.
Okay, real quick. Go ahead and let her finish, DJ, and then you go ahead and go ahead behind her. Go ahead, Rella.
Thank you, Newstoter. Because if you don't support somebody like that, you're not going to sit there and find anything that somebody like that has to say and claim that he has grounds to even come in and disrespect the community at all. Because he don't. He doesn't. As a matter of fact, as I was going back and looking at a lot of his videos, even the ones on TikTok, I realized that's his platform. His stick is that he's found a way to make money off of degrading our community. And he targets the black women, but he really talks about everybody in the black community. If that's someone that you think somebody should have a voice and a space for people to listen to, because what he said was, we've been given the opportunity to have phones in our hands, and all the people will ever do is have their position of authority in starting spaces in their ability to mute the mic if they don't agree with you. He wants people to come in and fight with him, argue with him about degenerate surface level stuff when he is while he's collecting the bag. That is dangerous. You collecting the bag off of keeping gender wars, degeneracy up, because he don't care about none of it. At the same time, now trying to jump into the space talking about reparations when he don't even believe in it at all. At all. He wouldn't challenge none of the men, and I guess he would definitely not challenge anybody else other than Black women, because that's what sells. That's what makes platforms money. If you can shit on Black women, degrade them to the 10th degree, and get a bunch of people who have an issue with the conditions of our community and our relationships, they could make money off of you. I don't need that type of atmosphere. And I don't think nobody in the community needs that type of atmosphere. It's toxic. And at the end of the day, even if other men who do believe in the manosphere don't agree with him, that lets me know that it's a bigger issue than just talking about our relationship communication. We're talking about somebody who prides themselves off of making money on the division, as you call it, the double D's, divisive and divisive. So at the end of the day, that ain't my hero. And he was nasty for what he said. Because any man who decides to want to acquiesce to point his conversation, would you want to give him space? For what reason? They're dangerous, and I would never want to put anybody in our community in that position ever.
All right, thank you, Rella. DJ, did you want to say something before I go to the speakers?
No, I'm just here to listen. Don't make accusations. I told you that before, and I really do mean that, because shit like that can get a nigga killed. You don't know. But let's go.
All right, let me go ahead and go to the great one. Is that Don? Don, is that you?
It is. What's happening, people?
Hey, what's going on, Don?
What's going on? What up, Don? What's up? What's happening, family? You know what I'm saying? Today I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? Got my sons with me you know what I mean? This is out of summer school and everything like that. So, like that, Black fathers in the house. Yeah, I got to be a daddy. So I'm on my P's and Q's looking at these dudes and like, all right, what I mess up on this year? That's why y'all in summer school. But anyways, I see the topic. You know what I mean? There's two Tommies. Okay, Tommy Sotomayor. Let's start off with that dude. That dude on Real Talk. Do you guys remember a dude named Timothy Coffin?
I don't remember him, no. Not offhand that I could think of.
Really? There was a homeless man who got killed in New York City about a couple of years ago by a white supremacist. A white supremacist was actually, and you can Google this, the white supremacist that we all went through as social media. This is before you can scrub it. You know who he was listening to?
Who?
Tommy Sotomayor. Now, this is a white supremacist listening to this dude and went out and killed a black man in the middle of New York City. And I want you guys to, you know what I'm saying, Google it so you guys can know I'm not lying, and you can, you know what I'm saying? This is what happened. This is when a lot of people was like, yo, you really dangerous. There's a lot of dangerous people who listen to, you know what I'm saying, black people like Titus, this dude, whatever, you know what I mean? And they go out there and they actually kill people. He knows that's the truth. You know what I mean? Dude knows that really happened. He knows that he was part of, you know what I'm saying, whatever his rhetoric was, it led to the death of a black man. Just like Candace Owens, you know what I'm saying, when she was that dude who killed all them people in New Zealand, Guess who he was listening to? Candace Owens. You know, there's a lot of dangerous black people out here that we have to pay attention to. And not saying that we got to pay attention to. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, just drop them off the map. Like, hey, we can't even listen to you because, you know what I'm saying, people think that, oh, well, all black people are listening to you. Well, I'm going to just kill a black person. That's what happened. This dude walked up, stabbed this black man in the middle of middle of Times Square. You know, so he's very, very. If we had look at this, man. Do not put this dude on the map anymore. Don't let him talk. Don't let him speak. He's done. He's done, and that was years ago. You know what I mean? He's been off the map for a minute, but he's, you know what I mean? Certain people need money. I get it. You need money because nobody's messing with you no more. Even the white people don't need you no more. You know, all that manosphere stuff, that's when, as soon as you get a black man killed for your rhetoric and you're black and you don't say anything about it and you just like, okay, I'm not going to change my message. Well, I'm just going to go harder. I'm going to go for Trump and I'm going to do it. I'm like, nah, dog, come on now. You see that you got this brother killed. You know what I'm saying? He's listening to you. I know that no white supremacist is going to come on to this space. You know what I mean? And be like, you know what? I'm going to offer a Newstoter's rhetoric about black men and how they're crazy hyenas and whatever. I'm going to go kill a black man. It's not going to happen. Now, what the white supremacist senator said, you know what I mean? This dude, he's just said the solid part out loud. You know, he was like, yo, I'm a white nationalist. Don't mean he's trying to play stupid, but we know what it was. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to boost anybody up in the Marine Corps because there's so many black people in the Marine Corps and so many, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna say it too, Latinos, and everybody's trying to get rank. And white boys ain't cutting it. And if you was in the military, you know a lot of white boys don't cut it. A lot of white boys are some of the most weakest people. Like, nah, dog, you cannot lead troops. I was in the military, and I know my captain was named Pussy Juice because he was a pussy. He was like, nah, nigga, shut up, Pussy Juice. You know what I'm saying? But I was in the all-male unit, so it was like we didn't play that. But he got away with murder because guess what? He was a white boy. But now it's like nobody playing that shit. I don't land my plane. I just want to let that be out there that, yo, this dude got this dude, Tommy Coughlin, I think Coughlin, killed. Now that's something serious, family. We can't play with fire like that. I land.
All right. Thank you, Don. Been a little minute since you've been up in the space. We're good to hear from you. Shout out to you and your kids as well, too, man. Let me go ahead and get to Trouble. Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing tonight?
Oh, sorry, just parking right quick. Hey, Newstoter and everybody up in the cut. Hope everybody's doing all right. Can you hear me? Because I'm in a parking lot.
Yeah, I can hear you.
We hear you, Trouble. Good to hear from you, sister.
Hey, Professor. So, Tommy Tuberville, I'll start there because I don't really have a whole lot to say about him. He is a white supremacist, even though he claims white nationalists. To me, it's one and the same. And one thing white supremacists do is they stay on code with each other, and to a certain degree, I can't say that they're not supposed to. Real talk, that's what we supposed to do, but we don't. We do, but enters into the conversation is a Tommy sort of moisture. So by us trying to be on code, it all it would take is a Tommy sort of moisture to come up into the cut and throw everything in disarray and prove how well we're able to stay on code with each other. So to a certain degree, while he's not necessary, the Tommy sort of moistures are sort of necessary because they kind of put on display those who are off code, those who are a harm to their own people, though they pretend not to be a harm to their own people. It takes a Tommy sort of moisture to kind of pull that out and put it on display. Cog, I know Cog said that we shouldn't give him any, ignore him and A, B, and C. But for the most part, none of us really do. Those of us who are on code, we don't give him, that type of play. But it other people who are not as on code as they should be pulls him into play. And he pulls them into our spaces. And so then it becomes a problem. It's the white people that, love the Tommies of the world. And unfortunately, there's some of us black folks who love the Tommies too, because Tommy speaks their mind. He speaks their heart. He says what it is that they want to say, but they don't want to put it on display because they don't want to look like they off code. Like Rella, I didn't appreciate being tagged into a post for a conversation that had nothing to do with me, because as we were in Toter Space yesterday, the conversation dealt with Tommy, but for the most part, it was about the fresh and fit guys. And what was said about the fresh and fit guys somehow got entangled into the Tommy. And so when you tag a person into it, and then you tag them into a Tommy's Sotomayor space, you're bringing Tommy into a conversation that he had nothing to really do with. Nobody was really talking about reporting to Tommy, because Tommy doesn't even have a channel on YouTube anymore. The Fresh and Fit guys do. So that was pretty much number one. So it was disingenuous altogether. I want people to learn how to tell the damn truth. And if you can't tell the truth, then keep your mouth on mute. But don't bring me into your foolishness and then expect me not to say anything, because anybody that knows me knows I'm not going to stay quiet for long, especially when you pull me into that foolishness. I went inside Tommy Sotomayor's space on my other account last night just to hear the talking point. And he did exactly what Toter was saying he was doing in those other videos of his. Black be this, black be that. And to watch a brother who I thought, was my brother, sit there throwing up 100s and laughing at it and heart emojis and all of the nasty, degenerate shit he was saying about black women, that was some hurtful ish. And I'm sitting there like, wow, but thank you for showing me who you are, because I need to see who you are so I can know fully who it is that I'm dealing with. So I can say thank you for tagging me into that bullshit, because now I know who I can't deal with. And that's a problem in the black community when we have certain people who will say, I love my black people, I'm down for the black community, except for you black bitches. Because you got some underlying hate in your heart that needs to be sussed out, that you don't want to own up to. So you'll lean on Tommy Sotomayor to speak your intentions. And that's hurtful, and it's harmful to our community when you cannot own that. You got to learn to own your shit and stop being disingenuous with it. So don't tag me into your foolishness. That was some traitorous bullshit. I do not appreciate it. Don't do it a damn again. And I'm going to land my plane right there. I'm going to come back, but I'm going to land my plane right there, because I feel myself getting a little bit heated, and I'm going to say some damn things that I can't take back. So I'm going to land right there. I'll come back later, though.
All right, Trouble. We'll see you a little bit later on then. Let me go ahead real quick and get to Fred. I think Fred, and then Black Native.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, Fred.
Okay. As far as Tommy Sotomayor, for the most part, the people he was talking about were chicken head ratchets. There really wasn't no black women that I would even want to co-sign. He was talking about like those plantation jump offs that was on that damn show with them damn counterfeit Negroes on there, that Fresh and Fit. He was talking about like that ratchet that was telling on Zion Williamson. But I will tell you this much: the one thing that I'm going to hang on to is when I was watching watching it one time on YouTube, and he was making fun of this little girl. She was at a mall or something. She couldn't have been no more than 11, and some damn cracker, grown ass dude, punched her in the face and knocked her out. He was making fun of it, talking about, look at this beautiful beam footage. Now, as far as him, I hope he's struggling for money, because one of the deals that I want to make, and I would literally, give me 6 months, I would literally cut down to whatever he weighs right now. Like I say, I'm 240, and I would cut down to whatever he weighs right now, sign a waiver, both sides, so he could meet me in a cage, bare knuckle, no referee. Now, if somebody could set that up, you'll get the half of the bread. Now, because see, like that right there, I would like to hear him explain that, and I would like to, while I'm standing right there in front of him. Now I'm mute.
All right. Thank you, Fred. Thank you for everybody up in the space, up in the Jumbotron on the far left-hand side. We have the Newstoter YouTube channel up there. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to that. If you have not subscribed to it, go ahead and subscribe while the space is actually going. That is on the far left-hand side. On the right-hand side, the second on the right-hand side, we have the Funded Socially social media network up in there. You can go ahead and subscribe to that as well too. I have my personal link, so you can go ahead and subscribe to that as well. I tweeted that out today, so definitely go ahead and subscribe to Funded Socially as well too. So like I say, if you have not subscribed to a YouTube channel, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to it. If you have, go ahead and retweet that out. Also, we have the Cash app up in the Jumbotron, or the Cash app is $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Any donation or contribution is greatly appreciated. Once again, any donation or contribution is greatly appreciated. For those that do not have Cash app, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron. For those that's on YouTube, all of those links are up in the actual description as well too. Also, we're trying to go ahead, like I said, we have the Twitter membership for just $3 a month. You can support Newstoter for just $3 a month here on Twitter. Just go to the profile page. We got 5. I keep saying we got 5. That means we're not jumping. We hadn't got anybody subscribed in a while, so we're looking for another subscription. Just $3 a month to support us on Twitter. Just $3 a month. Once again, that is just $3 a month to support us on Twitter. And once again, the Cash app is $Newstoter. Let me go ahead and kick it over to Black.
Can I say one more thing? Just 10 seconds.
Real quick.
All right. One thing Tommy's trying to do is he's trying to reinvent himself. Don't let him do it. Let him stay right there in that lane. The same motherfucker that laughed at that little girl getting punched in the face. Don't let him reinvent himself to try to be more on our side. Now I'm here.
Okay, appreciate that, friend. And just real quick, I know you were saying that he was talking about the ratchets and the jump offs, but there's videos with Tommy sitting up here talking about all Black women. He said, I don't give a damn who it is. I don't care if she's old, young, or whatever. I'm talking about all Black women. So even though he may talk about the so-called ratchets and stuff like that, he made it clear that he was talking about all Black women fit into a certain mold, not just some, not just, he say, I don't care if they're young, they old, or whatever. Now I'm sure he has a daughter. His daughter doesn't fit into it because he said that his daughter would know how to speak to a man and this and that. So just like always, it's never the ones you closest related to, but all other Black women, I'm sure that's not blood related, or his daughter at the very least. Well, I'm not talking about last night. I'm talking about him in general, his whole rhetoric. I went in his space last night because he got me blocked and I got him blocked. But I'm talking about, yeah, but I'm talking about his whole little shit stick he be doing. Yeah, but I wasn't in there last night. But yeah, he may have been talking about those last night or whatever. But like I said, he had a couple spaces a couple weeks ago where he was talking about that. He asked about, are Black people intellectually inferior to white folks? Prove me wrong. And he had another space where he's talking about why are Black people begging white people for reparations. So like I said before, when the space goes, he not only has an issue with Black women, he has an issue with Black people in general. Black women, number one. And of course, we know there's only 2 people. There's men and there's women. And Black men, number 2. So he has an issue with all of us. Go ahead, Black Native. You there, Black Native?
Yeah, this ain't the liquor store, and I beat Governor with that same record. So there you go.
Well, I wasn't in there, so I don't know what you did. So kudos to you on that, but I wasn't in there, but the champ is here. So I want to speak about both Tommies. Because that name, both of them are, to me, one is white and one is a white man in black skin, which are both white supremacists at the end of the day. What Tommy Sotomayor is doing, he's a fisherman. So right now he's fishing. He's throwing out the reel and seeing who he can bait to bring into the spaces, because he's a washed up 56-year-old YouTuber. He's not no A or B list. He's a YouTuber. He has thoughts of grandeur only in his own mind. And I'm going to speak about his daughter. There was a video that came out when he was in the shower with his daughter. His daughter's like 10 years old, and everybody was calling him on that. And I guess he deleted that, but it might be up there if he didn't scrub it all. But yeah, so let's speak about the perversion of it all. He hates black women mostly, but he also hates black people. I think I sent Newstoter something. I don't know if he looked at it, where he...
Yeah, I saw all three of them.
In his own words, and I don't know if it was that. I was trying to find it because I know he's going to deny it, where he said that white people should kill young black boys. But he's supposed to be. Yeah. He's a scammer too.
Yeah.
He's a scammer. He had some so-called documentary about black fathers and all this shit, and kept everybody's money. So now he's claiming he's a psychiatrist. Doubt he got a PhD. Doubt he even went to school or to college. He's a tether. So now it all makes sense. I should have known by that receipt and hairline that should have been the clues. But we weren't really paying attention until now. Come to find out, he's not even a Black American, but he's been speaking on Black American issues for years and monopolizing off of it from white people. Those were his main contributors. He also has a Cash App on his page on Twitter. So since that well has dried out on YouTube, he's coming over to black spaces, just testing the waters, popping in, popping out, saying the same shit that he's been saying for the past 15 years. Nothing's changed. The message is still the same, and he's fishing to see who's going to bite. So this is what you're seeing now. You're seeing an old, washed-up YouTuber has-been that had a little career on YouTube, went to his head, and that shit is deflated. So now he's up here on Twitter trying to get his claim to fame back. But we ain't going to let it happen. We're going to stop his ass in his tracks. So also I want to speak about the white racist dude who's a nationalist who claims that white nationalists are not racist in his mind. But, I don't expect anything less from white people at this point, so I'm not surprised on that. That's all I really have to say about that white man. They're both dangerous in different ways. I didn't even know somebody was murdered on behalf of Tommy in New York City from the rhetoric that he's been spewing out his mouth for the past 15 years on YouTube. And if somebody was in that room clapping and caca and kikiing and thinking that shit was cute, you got a problem. And don't tag me, because all this shit was going down. I'm in my bed catching my Z's. I wake up and I'm being tagged in a conversation that I wasn't even in to begin with. So I found that kind of odd. I'm like, yo, what's going on? But I was put in this conversation, and you know who you are. You should have tagged Newstoter. You know what I'm saying? Well, DJ, I'm going to just say you. Okay, since you said it, it was you. And you should have tagged Newstoter, but you bypassed Newstoter, and you came to the female, and you came to the female, and you came to the women.
You don't have to overtalk me, sister. I'm just trying to explain something. You don't have to do that.
But I'm not finished talking now.
I understand that, but Tommy already blocked Newstoter, so there was nothing to tag. So
why did you feel that we needed? Why did you feel that we wanted to hear Tommy Sotomayor speak? What made you? I'm gonna call him Tommy Suckermeyer because he's a fucking sucker. So I just want to know what made you think that I wanted to hear what he had to say when we've been hearing the same shit for 15 years. He hasn't changed his message. He might try to repackage it a little bit different, but the message is still the same nonetheless. And he's trying to get into black political spaces, and he's never been into black political politics at all. Never. So again, don't tag me in anything that has anything to do with him. If I want to go in his space, I can go in his space because he didn't block me, and I'm surprised because I've been dragging him for 2 weeks on Twitter, but I'm unblocked. So that's kind of odd. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. He's a washed up, tether has been. He hates black people. He hates himself. He hates the fucking black tile in his house. He hates the black tires on his car. He just hates black shit, okay? And that's Tommy Sotomayor. And I'll land my plane. Thank you.
All right. DJ, you was going to say something?
I'll let the folks respond. I'll go.
All right.
No, I know who got their hand up. I'm in the matrix actually doing something else. But go ahead.
Real quick, y'all. Let me touch up real quick on this thing here with Tommy Tuberville. Of course, y'all been touching up on it, so I'm gonna just briefly highlight a little bit of this this article. Rivera, I'm trying to get you up here, but I'm hitting approve. Okay, I guess you finally up here. Let me touch up on this real quick. From News One, it says, and it's up in the Jumbotron, Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville says it's only an opinion that white nationalists are racist. Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville doesn't appear to understand what a white nationalist is. Now, if you're familiar with Tuberville, then you know his confusion could be compared to Superman saying he'd never heard of the Justice League, or Donald Trump saying he doesn't know what MAGA is an acronym for, or Gargamel being baffled by the term Smurfism. Yes, I included Trump among fictional characters because he has to be, right? On Monday, Tuberville made an appearance on CNN and went back and forth with the host, Caitlin Collins, about check notes whether or not white nationalists are racist. Before we get into this interview, here are the remarks Tuberville made in May when he was asked about white nationalists in the military during the interview with WBHM. We are losing in the military so fast, our readiness in terms of recruitment. And why? I tell you why. Because the Democrats are attacking our military, saying we need to get out the white extremists, the white nationalists, people that don't believe in our agenda. So first of all, if white supremacists don't believe in the Republican agenda, why do they keep gravitating towards MAGA world and the Republican Party? More to the point, why is Tuberville upset that Democrats are looking to rid the U.S. military of white extremists, especially if they don't, in fact, believe in his party's agenda? During that interview, Tuberville was pressed on the issue of white nationalists in our armed forces, and that's when he first revealed that he has his own definition of the term. Well, they call them that, he said. I call them Americans. Tuberville also said he looks at white nationalists as a Trump Republican because that's what we're called at the time. Canines are also referred to as dogs at the time. Weird, right? Anyway, Tuberville's most recent interview resulted in much of the same almost comical nonsense. Collins tried her very best to educate the gut senator by informing him that a white nationalist, by definition, is someone who believes that the white race is superior to other races. Well, that's some people's opinion, Tuberville said regarding a factual definition. My opinion of a white nationalist, if someone wants to call them a white nationalist, to me, is an American, he continued. It's an American. Now, if that white nationalist is racist, I'm totally against anything that they want to do because I am 110% against racism. You know who Tuberville reminds me of? Former Iowa Representative Steve King. White nationalist, white supremacist, Western civilization. How did that language become offensive? King asked during his interview with the New York Times in 2020. He also wondered why he himself constantly being called a white nationalist, despite his opinion that multiculturalism is a tool for the left to subdivide a culture and civilization into our own little ethnic enclaves and pit us against each other. According to the Washington Post in 2016, King said the idea of multiculturalism, that every culture is equal, that's not objectively true. We've been fed that information for the past 25 years, and we're not going to become a greater nation if we continue to do that. And these comments are only the tip of King's white supremacist iceberg. Wouldn't it be a shame if Tuberville, who claims it's only a matter of opinion that white nationalists are inherently evil, racist, and that he is 110% against racism, also had a history of making blatantly racist remarks? They're not soft on crime, Tuberville said of the Democrats during Trump's rally last year. They're pro-crime. They want crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparations because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. And case is obvious when Tuberville said that the people that do the crime, he meant black people, despite the fact that statistically the vast majority of black people do not commit violent crimes in any given year. Besides that, Tuberville believes no black people should receive reparations because some black people commit crimes. But no, I'm sure he's a full 110% against racism. And here's Tuberville going out of his way to deride schools and educators in the inner city, which, unless one is dedicated to feigning ignorance, is obviously coded language for the schools with all the black and brown people. The COVID really brought it out about how bad our schools are and how bad our teachers are in the inner city. He said, most of them in the inner city, I don't know how they got degrees. I don't know whether they can read or write. During the CNN interview, Tuberville appeared to imply that most white people are white nationalists. Well, I didn't say it, he did. If you're going to do away with most white people in this country out the military, we've got huge problems, he said, to which Collins responded, it's not people who are white, it's white nationalists that have a few probably different beliefs. They have different beliefs, Tuberville said. Now, if racism is one of those beliefs, I'm totally against it. I'm totally against racism. And to prove he's not racist, he invoked his decade-long career as a college football coach at Auburn University and other schools. I was a football coach for 40 years and had the opportunity to be around more minorities than anybody on this hill. He said in a typical but I have a black friend fashion. His use of minorities is also very telling. So basically, if Tuberville is truly confessed about the definition of white nationalism, he need only find the nearest mirror. But that's just my opinion. So that was Tommy Tuberville, y'all. Like I say, this joker used to coach. I remember he coached at Auburn. He coached at Ole Miss. He coached at a bunch of schools in the SEC. He looks like he's straight out the trailer trash. Like he has a side of tobacco on the right side of his gum that he's got a cup to spit it in as well too. So he's always been trash. And here he goes with talk about coaching that he's been around all these minorities. Yeah, because they made you a wealthy man, and they weren't minorities. Let's be for real. 80% of those people that you coached were black. It wasn't a bunch of Asians and Hispanics and all these other races. It was black people in the SEC where you coached at most of your time that made you a rich man was actually black men out there playing football. So let's cut the crap, Tommy. Let me go ahead. I know cognitive.
Cam Newton, one of his he played for Auburn, right? Cam Newton, right?
Cam played, but Cam didn't. He didn't play. But he didn't play underneath. He didn't play underneath Tommy Tuberville though. Yeah, but he didn't play underneath Tommy Tuberville. Let me go ahead and get to cognitive. Cognitive. I know you got your hands up. Everybody, get your hands up that want to speak as well too, and we'll get to you. Go ahead, cognitive.
I actually was just online researching about this Tommy Sotomayor dude. He is presently married to a white woman that might show why he's acting like he's acting. I've noticed a lot of black American men that marry white women. It's a pushback against black women. I mean, you gotta love who you love. But if anybody can send me a message to confirm this, it looks like he was married to a Russian chick. Now, I do know his kids are black American. Well, we don't know if he's black American. I'm hearing he's a tether. But if anybody can hit me up on the back channel, because it looks like he's married to a Russian chick, which, kind of shows why he acts the way he acts. And that's all I have to say.
Well, he was fucking with that Russian prostitute. It was the Russian prostitute out here in LA that he was fucking with. You know what I mean? He fell in love.
I'm gonna be honest. I never heard about no Russian prostitute, but okay.
Yeah, it was the Russian prostitute.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? See, that's the thing. I'm from LA, so when he came out here, it was like, oh, you a bitch, nigga. We got you. We're gonna send you the worst one. Instead of him a Russian prostitute. You know what I'm saying? I remember that hoe. I'm sorry if I'm talking real gangster right now, but that was like 10, 15 years ago, somewhere around there. But you know what I'm saying? We had like, hey, yo, go fuck with this nigga. You know what I'm saying? And she did. And she got this nigga for a bag. He's like, cool, split it up with everybody. This nigga's a bitch. On real talk, look at this, on real talk. There was some girls who got beat up by the police in McKinney, Texas. You know what I'm saying? If you ever remember that, they was at a pool party. You know what I'm saying? And these black girls, this cop came in and he did a Tuberville roll and started beating up black girls. And this is in Texas. They had an interview, and he was talking about this little girl breast. That's why when a homegirl brought up the situation where he was talking about taking showers with his daughter, I was like, oh, that popped into my head. Like, oh yeah, he was talking about little girls like that. This nigga's he's a pervert. He's nasty, dude. We shouldn't be talking about this nigga.
Hold on, Don. We thought you was talking about Tommy Tuberville. So you talking about Tommy Sotomayor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Am I lying about this?
Oh, okay, because at first.
You're not lying. It was a video out, and people was getting in his ass about him taking showers with his 10-year-old daughter.
No. Because I heard y'all say that, but no, when he was talking about the Russian prostitute. At first, I thought he was talking because I had just got through. We just got through talking to Cognitive, just got through talking about Tuberville, so I thought that's what he was talking about. So my bad.
We already know who she is. She was a dominatrix. You know what I'm saying? She was a dominatrix. You know what I'm saying? She was the one who, do the stuff, stick stuff in. You know what I'm saying? And this, I ain't gonna say anything. You know what I'm saying? So everybody knows he weird.
That he did research on Tommy Sotomayor, and he said that he saw that Tommy Sotomayor is married to a white woman.
Okay.
The woman was Russian.
Okay. So my bad because I missed that part because I know he was talking. Yeah, I heard him say about the research, but I was still thinking after reading about Tommy Tuberville, that's what I thought we was on. So my bad on that one. Like I say, I'm thinking, I'm like, Tommy, who you talking about? Tommy Tuberville? I'm like, what the hell Tommy Tuberville was that?
It was that nigga. He really did that. He was really booed up with a prostitute. You know what I'm saying? Out here in LA.
Let me just say allegedly. Let me put allegedly on my part in there.
This nigga admit to it. That was the best part. Like, nigga, you admit to this shit? Nigga, you a bitch, nigga. But you know what I'm saying? He admitted to it. Like, yeah, this Russian bitch got me. I didn't know she was a prostitute. Everybody in the hood knew she was a prostitute. We sent her to you, dumbass. She took all that, because homegirl was right. They had that fatherless money. Yeah, he had a movie coming out. She got him for all that. She ain't lying about that shit. That shit happened. That shit, and that's why that nigga had to bounce. And that nigga never came back to Cali. You know what I'm saying? He came back to Cali one time, I think. You know what I'm saying? And still got G'd up. Niggas was like, nah, nigga, you can't come back here because you talk about black women. You ain't learned your lesson. You was fucking with them white bitches. You know what I mean? And he was fucking with this white prostitute, and he had her all on camera. And we sitting there laughing at this nigga like, nigga, you know what she was doing last night, nigga? Nigga, you this is how much of a donkey this nigga is. You know what I'm saying? But,
Well, I appreciate that.
Keno said, white girl got your mind fucked up.
Well, appreciate that.
Hold on. He's on film. He was talking about like how handsome white boys are.
Yeah.
Like, nigga, he was on film talking about it like, oh, nigga.
Let me come back because you kind of did cut in the line. So let me go ahead and get to the other speakers. Let me give a shout out to Riviera as well too. Rivera, he just went ahead and subscribed to the monthly the Twitter subscription. So thank you on that part, brother. Rivera, let me go ahead and get to Professor. I know it's been a minute since you had a chance to talk as well too. And for anybody else, like I said, we hadn't had anybody. I think Cognitive is the only person that did actually make a donation. But anybody that wants to donate to the Newstoter platform, that is $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Also, the Venmo and PayPal is up in the Jumbotron as well too. But once again, that is $Newstoter. And Nat, shout out to you as well too. So shout out to you, Nat. I know earlier you on YouTube you did as well too. So shout out to you, Nat. Let me go ahead and get to Professor, and then I'm gonna get to you, Callie, and I'm gonna get to you, Rella, and anybody else that wants to speak as well too. Just go ahead, Don. You want to go ahead and speak again? Go ahead and get your hand up. I know you. I kind of was trying to get back to the other speakers. I know you kind of cut them off, but we'll get back to you as well too. So anybody that wants to speak up here as well, just put your hands up, and we will definitely go ahead and get to you. And shout out to everybody that's coming up in the space. We're talking about Tommy Sotomayor, and we're talking about the Senator of Alabama, Tommy Tuberville, and his white nationalist talking points that he's talking about with the military. As far as he's concerned, we need to keep the white nationalists in the military as much as possible. So let me go ahead and get to Professor. Professor, go ahead.
you, Newstoter. Great topic tonight, family. I've been sitting back listening to everybody. I love what everybody's saying. I'm gonna go back to. I'm gonna come back. Let me say it that way. I'm gonna come back to Tommy Sotomayor, or in the words of our sister Trouble, Tommy Sotomayor. That's a great name for this motherfucker. But anyway, now getting to Tommy Tuberville, I want to talk about him for a moment because he was a head coach at Auburn for about a good 19 years. And of course, you know, that's my university. That's where I graduated from. And this man made a lot of money and had a lot of success at Auburn because of a lot of the black football players that he coached. And one of those very good players, one of the best players ever to come through Auburn is right now at Auburn as one of the assistants. As a matter of fact, he's an assistant head coach. If you don't know his name, that is Cornell Williams.
Cadillac Williams.
Cadillac Williams, a.k.a. Cadillac. That was one of Tommy Tuberville's best players ever. And he's now an assistant head coach at Auburn, which means he's in line, the way they got it set up, he's actually in line to become the first black head coach at Auburn. They put him second in line under this new guy that they just hired, Hugh Freeze. So that's one of Tommy Tuberville's players. And he made a lot of money from Cornell Williams and Ronnie Brown, two of the best running backs to ever play in the backfield at Auburn and to play in the SEC, which was a part of that undefeated team of 2004, which a lot of people felt like that team should have been a national championship team. They missed it just by, you know, a margin or whatever, because I think the USC ended up taking it, which that team, by the way, that USC team, ended up cheating.
I think they actually split the championship that year, Professor. One poll did give it to them, like the AP or somebody gave it to them, or ESPN, one of them did. But go ahead.
But so let me say this, y'all. With that being said, Tommy Tuberville has made a lot of money off black athletes, and for him to be saying the stuff that he's saying against black Americans is a disgrace. And if I had the power to remove him from that seat, which him and these other Republicans that's in Alabama, this is why Alabama is right now at the bottom, because did y'all know that Alabama now is the lone state without a lottery? Yeah, I checked on it yesterday. Arkansas even has the lottery now. See, this is crazy. Alabama, I think Utah's the other one. It's Alabama and Utah, the two states now that don't have it. And of course, Nevada, but Nevada actually don't need the lottery because they have all the casinos. So you really don't have to, you can kind of take them out of the picture. But Utah and Alabama are the two states that don't have the lottery. Now, you ask yourself, what's going on with the poorest states? Alabama is one of them. And I think Willa was the one that said something about Republicans. Most of these Republican districts and Republican areas are going to be poor, and their state's going to be poor. She is right on the money. Go and check it out for yourself, family. Look at all your Republican states and districts. You're going to see some very poor areas. That's right, because that's how the Republicans want it to be. They want to make sure that there's no equality, particularly when it comes to Black America. That's why they've been trying to block everything, such as you know, they recently did a block on that Joe Biden student debt cancellation, because they all got together and actually put some legislation on the book, and they did it really quick too. See, this is how quick these folks work. When it's something that they want to block to keep people from coming up, they'll work on it quick and get it passed. But with this reparations movement, oh Lord, they try to do what they can not to talk about it. They don't want to deal with it. When it comes to police reform, the George Floyd Police Act, they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to deal with that. See, this is what I'm talking about. They Whenever they want to pass something, they're gonna go and do it. But when it comes to us, particularly what is due to us, they don't try to do anything. And that's Republican / Democrats. They all working together. So Sister Rilla is right on the money, everybody, when she says that. They playing the game with all of us. Now, Tommy Sotomayor, getting back to you. I just think of you as somebody that's coming up in here to try to make your money off the backs of Black Americans. And if I could see you somewhere, we could try to make some money. Yeah, that's right. We could make some money. Now, Fred already put his challenge out there, but I had to surpass you, Fred, man, because I want to see if I can get some money on this deal where me and this motherfucker can get into it and fight. Because, see, he likes to confront Black women, but he won't confront Black men. So I like to see if I can get him out there, and like you said, Fred, let's get him at the bare knuckles. Hey, man, I want to see what the nigga can do when he says bitch to a man, see? So on that standpoint, I like to kind of get him some highlights right there, just for that, to see if he's man enough to step to a man and call the man a bitch. But no, I already know what he's going to do. He will step to a Black woman and call her a bitch. See, that's what he's going to do. This is what weakling type men do. That's what they do. That's what they do, y'all. So shout out to Sister Trouble for naming him what he really is. And that is Mr. Tommy Sotomayor. I like it. I love it. That's what we need to call him, but we don't really need to give him a whole lot of attention because that's what he wants. He wants to get his money up. He wants to get his popularity back up on this space here. And shout out to Black Native because she's been on his ass. And y'all know how Black Native is. She get on your ass, she stay on your ass. That's right. She don't let up. And but I'm gonna land my plane right there, everybody.
Hey, real quick, everybody, we got 83 people up in the actual space tonight. We got 83 people up in the space. Let's see if we can get at least $1 or $2 in donations to the actual Cash App, $sign Newstoter, $sign Newstoter. Like I tell everybody before, Newstoter is just not a it's just not a space holder. Newstoter is an actual platform itself. It is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today. So let's see if we can get at least $1 or $2 in donations. Anything else. If it's $1 or $2 that you guys can spare to the nice program, that's fine. But also, that's not just going to the program, it's going to the actual platform itself. We curate news from so many different other Black-owned websites, Black-owned newspapers. We got Black-owned newspapers that's been in business since the 50s and the 60s that we work with. So, yeah, it's just not when you support Newstoter, you're supporting Black-owned business itself. You're supporting multiple, way more than multiple. You're supporting a whole lot of Black-owned businesses because we curate from so many different sources. So definitely for those that can't afford it, if you have $1 or $2 that you can spare to the nice program and to the platform, make sure you visit newstoter.com every day, guys, to stay up to date on Black news. That's what I need to get everybody that's up in this space. I need y'all to visit newstoter.com and just surf and check out the actual articles. If you guys depend on the phone you may have or whatever, you guys may have to with your pop-up blocker, disable your pop-up blocker because sometimes your phones act up or whatever and it won't let you go all the way to the article. Shout out to Bolton. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but definitely go ahead and make sure you visit the site every day, guys. We need to go ahead and make sure that you're staying up to date on content and information because we can't tweet out everything from the site on the Twitter. There's going to be so much information that you're gonna miss. So definitely the only way to actually stay up to date is to actually go to the website newstoter.com. When you leave the space, go there for a minute. When you leave the space tonight, for everybody up in the space, leave it to go. I know you don't want to get off of Twitter, but just go there for 1 minute to go up there. So just check it out and go there. Shout out to Michael as well too. Thank you for your contribution on Cash App. But make sure you visit newstoter.com daily. We talk about supporting Black content and Black sites and stuff like that. And sometimes we just need you guys to come to the actual sites to actually support us as well too. So definitely visit newstoter.com daily. And for anybody like that can make a contribution tonight. It is greatly appreciated. But make sure you're visiting Black-owned sites, and not only that, click through the article to go to other Black-owned websites as well too, so you can check out what they have there as well too. So, like I said, we have a smorgasbord of information that you guys can stay up to date with, and you can't put it all on Twitter, you can't put it all on social media. It's just too much. So you have to actually go to the actual site and use it as an encyclopedia to stay up to date on what's going on as well too. So let me just put that out there. Let me go ahead and get to Callie, then I'm gonna get to Rella, and I got you, Wilson, is next as well too. So go ahead, Callie, you got it. You there, Callie?
Yeah, I just had to get back in the phone. I wanted Professor. All the casinos in Alabama are access. Is that probably one of the reasons why they don't have the lottery?
The reason that we actually don't have it here is because of this conservative effort by preachers and basically people that are really snakes in the grass type people. They call themselves preachers. And this is mainly white people, by the way. They have this conservative movement, the Southern Baptists is what you want, if you want to call it that. They go to the state legislators to make sure that they don't pass the lottery. And the reason why they don't want the lottery passed, because these preachers want to make sure that they congregations are bringing that money into the church instead of going somewhere else, which is actually ignorant as hell, because people are still going outside of the state to these other states like Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi to get lottery tickets. But that's what's happening in the state of Alabama, because we really don't have that many casinos here, except those Indians, and the Indians is of course federal. They consider that federal land, and that might play some part in it, but they don't have to listen to the Indians. They can pass a lottery without so-called Indians having anything to do with it. The Indians, I don't think really can just stop them. This is something that the conservative movement here doesn't want, the Southern Baptists. And the reason why I say that is because when I interned at the state house back years ago, I used to see these preachers come to the state house and talk to the Republican state senator, because that's who controls the state. And every time the conversation of the lottery would come up, all of a sudden they would disappear. Long before the Indians even came into the picture here. So, and of course I can understand why people ask that question, because the Indians do have some big casinos here. But no, they was blocking this legislation years ago, before the Indians started building these casinos here. So
yeah, I asked because that's odd, because I got family down in Mobile, and they travel to Pensacola or Biloxi or the Shore, and they'll gamble and go buy their lottery tickets and then come back to Alabama. But with Tuberville is saying that the inner city schools have some issues and they got some uneducated teachers, because he said they teachers can't read and write, so the children can't read and write and do math neither. So I just figured maybe a lottery would probably be beneficial for the state and then the State Department of Education to dispense and disperse that money. Because Georgia didn't want a lottery neither, but they ended up getting a lottery, Cash 3 and all them other ones, and then that money supposedly is funneled into their public education system. So I don't know, maybe that kind of help them. I don't know, but them church folks be running down there to Pensacola too.
yes, they do, sister. We see them all the time. People getting on buses and stuff, going places to go gamble and get lottery tickets. So they do it all the time. These conservative Southern Baptist people, that's mainly the people that's behind all of this. That's why I was telling you with this whole Indian thing, it's not really what's stopping it. It's It's the conservative people here that's stopping it. Because they'll go up there to the state legislators talk about their gambling or lotteries bring crime and people gamble away their money, and so that makes people go out and steal. See, this is what they sell to the public. You know, that you don't need to be spending your money on the lottery because what about your family? You need to be taking that money, supporting your family. But really what the preachers want you to do is just bring that money onto these churches. See, you know, but these are the same preachers that might be sleeping with your wife. See, or they might even be we got pedos that are preachers because we got a bunch of them here in Alabama that's been found with kids. See.
Hey, real quick, Professor, do y'all see anybody requesting? Because I thought I saw 2 people, but I don't see it. Like I see it say requesting 2, but I don't see anything. Do you see anybody requesting to come up or anything?
Yeah, it's a smiley ninja. He just requested.
I don't even see them. So if you see the people, because I don't.
I try to add you, Smiley. It's not letting me come up. You might have to drop your phone and come back. But what?
Yeah.
I need you to drop down. I drop down.
No,
bro.
No, he up.
Okay, I see him now.
But,
one more thing, Professor. Okay, now, the last time I was in Alabama, they still had a blue law. Because I know most of the preachers, too, they rush on Saturday, Friday, go get all their liquor. Because Sunday, they not going to be able to get none. They still do that.
That changed a few years ago. Alabama finally caught up with the times, and now in most counties, mostly all over the state now, you can buy liquor on Sundays. That did finally change. Thank God. Alabama finally caught up with the times with that. Only if they could catch up with the times with every damn thing else. But yes, they finally caught up with the times with that. Just now, if you can get them to pass a lottery, like you said, so that would help with the education budget. They could, like Tuberville sitting up there complaining about the teachers in the urban areas, but shit, get a lottery in there, pass the lottery, and then you can set up an education budget where that lottery money can be funneled into that. And that can go out to all these different schools so we can help get these schools up to par. Man, most of these schools around here subpar. Shit, you go around here and grade them, they all low. They all below average. There you go. Shit, for the most part.
That's odd. That's odd. Because you know what I heard in a initiative, education initiative, that Mississippi at one time, we all know it was 49, ranked 50 in the union when it came to education. But apparently they moved up. Apparently they revamped their entire educational system and moved everybody, even their black students, moved up at least between 3 to 5 points. So I don't know, because Mississippi and Alabama kind of close.
They were the 2 closest states because they were the 2 redneckest states ever in the history of the Union. That's the 2 that was racing each other. 49th and 50th, they flip-flop one back at it. It was it's a disgrace. That's what, and both of them Republican states. See, there you go. This is the problem with republicanism, okay? But at the same time, the Democrats suck too. They all suck. So
hey, Professor, I was gonna say real quick. Let me go ahead and get the Wilson too, because she's been waiting and she hadn't had a chance to speak.
Go ahead. Yes.
But let me get the Wilson because she's a new speaker.
I think Brella was before me.
Yeah, but you're a new speaker and everybody spoke, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and get a chance to speak.
Oh, okay. I mean, if Brella, you want to talk? I mean, it doesn't matter to me. Is it okay?
Oh, now you know it's all right. You got it.
Okay, no problem. The two things I want to talk about, while such related. First of all, how's everybody? Hope everyone is doing well.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. These southern states, these 4 states that are intentionally creating more and more genocide as we speak, as I'm hearing in this room. It's amazing because these states don't
even have enough money to pay their federal taxes. And in states like mine, California, that, they'll, borrow money from states like mine that pay to stay alive. And I wish there was something, I wish we could vote here in California to withhold, to make sure that our taxes don't go to them, because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And they are the dregs of the earth, these people in these states. I've been to Jackson. I have people down, very good friends of mine, actually spoke to them today, in Jackson, and it is just, one of the most segregated cities I've ever been to, and intentionally poor. The water pressure in that city is so poor, and it's just the level of and the water quality is so poor, and just everything, is just so segregated in that city, and it's intentional. And so it's funny, Kentucky and Alabama and Mississippi, all those dreg states, they are all the ones that need money from the liberal states to stay alive. New York, Illinois, California, Washington, Oregon, mainly. And so, and I resent that. The other thing that I want to talk about is this guy, Sotomayor. I did not know who he was. I knew nothing about him until last night. And, I know Newstoter, you tell us, in the room sometimes when we get a little hyped, not to curse, be careful because, you're being monitored. But that man last night was such a disgrace. That man, he had more curse words and disgraceful things to say towards Black women. And so why is it, he stopped from doing that? He's not being so worried about cursing, but this man has free reign. And I think, there has to be some kind of level of accountability when he's in these spaces. And why isn't he being censored? Why? And is there anything that can be done to censor him completely, like 100%? That he's not allowed to be in any space on Twitter, because come on. Whether he was talking about ratchet Black women or not, that man's mouth against Black women was so disgusting. It was so gutter. It was so lowbrow, and this man is supposed to be a father of a girl. And why are we listening to him? Why? What good is it in this space to talk about this man? Is it moving the issues that we have in Black society by talking about this man? From what I'm hearing, he, I guess wherever he was before, maybe with YouTube, he's not making as much money as he was, so he's coming in here to be on the backs of Black women, and saw a couple of white people in the room, giving him the 2 thumbs up or whatever, the 100. They just love it, and demeaning enough, moralizing Black women, and trying to before I land with that.
All right. Thank you, Wilson. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Rella. Real quick, let me give a shout out to Miss Elmira. Elmira, thank you, sister. I appreciate your contribution on Venmo. Thank you. Go ahead, Rella. You got it.
Thank you, Newstoter, and shout out to Wilson. I believe Tommy Tuberville is from a long line of gatekeepers who want to keep the harms that are happening in the military under wraps. I posted down below, there was a general at the time from Alabama. At the time, Lavina Johnson was murdered, Kevin P. Barnes. And Lavina Johnson's case has never been solved. Never been solved. She was murdered. Her privates were, surgically removed. A few other parts of her were surgically removed after she was murdered, and she was beat to a pulp. And the family said that she took her own life with a high-powered assault rifle that she couldn't have held in her hand to even set off sitting down. So when you look at the things that are coming out of these poor states, where people are talking about how white nationalism needs to stay in the military, no, it is a danger to our country. That means that it is a danger to the citizens, even in and around the states, because they are putting people's lives, I think, in danger. There was another young Black woman by last name Montgomery who was stationed in Germany, and she was being pretty much accosted, and recorded it and sent it to her family, and let her family know, that she is in fear for life. She ends up being murdered. And then the person, they sent the woman to investigate her case. She ends up murdered. And then there was a young Black guy who was privy to the young lady being assaulted by white boys, white, I think, nationalists who are on the same base in Germany. He ends up being murdered. So when you look at or you hear Tommy Tuberville say that white nationalism needs to stay in the military, to me, that should be he should be automatically removed as a sitting senator, because he's putting our nation and even its soldiers, like, this is the part where you can tell people who have self-interest are in it for what they can get out of it, but you have people who are in positions of authority for a very reason. They keep the tyrant, or the dominating and murderers of society, I guess the white nationalists, in play. They protect that culture. When we've known for years that culture has been dangerous. And that's not, I don't think that's just a Republican thing. I think that is the power play of practicing white superiority, even in the military, even to the point where they can keep cases from being under wraps and people uncovering things. So, he's a danger, and we need to. That should always be, again, the focal point. We need to start holding spaces and talking about that. How has Tommy Tuberville changed the face of even his own community? If the population is white, he hasn't. They are 16.1% in Alabama. I think Alabama's the number. I think it's in the top 15 states, top 10 maybe. I gotta look that up again. In poverty, Mississippi is like number 3, number 2. I have to look it up again. And so all I'm gonna say is that these people are dangerous. They are dangerous. They like to play the shell game of, oh, look what the Democrats won't allow us to do, and they're taking down the country. They all are in it. And I've said it before. Democrats are for open borders. Republicans are for immigrant labor, meaning that they will marry the immigrants. They'll have them as cheap labor, so that keeps the cost of wages low. So you never, even as an American, actually start to make a livable wage. And then they'll bring people in here into the country, and then have them people telling you, you don't want to work, you lazy, and we don't want to work for low wages. Don't that sound crazy? That sounds crazy as hell. Tommy Sotomayor is a degenerate, and he is a predator. He is. He in the discussion that we were having yesterday, as he was tagged in the discussion late in the game, decides that he's going to be so degrading to the point where he tries to tell me that he's a tether with a big peen. I'm sorry, where in there does that have to do with anything that we were discussing? Nothing. Not nothing.
What's a peen anyway? What is that?
His peen. He was talking about his penis.
Oh, he was talking about
he was referring to his private part. And so all I'm saying is, if you're going to be that type of caliber of a person, then be that type of caliber of a person and stop trying to make it so that everybody else is at fault for you being the shitty type of dude that you are. Because it's not black women's fault that he's the way he is. It's not even his mother's fault. He is an almost 16-year-old man online with videos after videos trying to convince the world that somehow he's an honorable man. He's not. And he's not. He's dangerous. And if you are going to verbally sexually assault women in your discussion while turning around talking about how, well, I got a problem with black bitches that call white women bitches. Well, if white women are bitches, y'all bitches too. These are the kind of conversations he wants to have. He wants to suck people into. And I'm telling you, if you feel like you gotta send a whistle or a pigeon message to let someone know that he being talked about, he know he being talked about. He is a parasite and he wants that attention. So this will be the last space I will give attention to for him, because it's duly noted that that's the type of person that our community cannot afford. And black women would be in danger if he was the type of caliber of person trying to be around young boys. He would be a danger to them, because he would be training them that the only communication that you should be having with black women or black girls is to degrade them, demean them, and make sure that you devalue them even amongst people that don't look like you. That is degeneracy, and that is dangerous to our collective. I don't care where you fall on the spectrum at all. That's past some matrix shifts. That's something else. That is something else. And on top of that, trying to make money off of that too, yeah, you got to be a sick person. That's why I made sure and I reported his ass. And I said it again, his page will be deleted after that shit, because you're not going to verbally sexually assault me, and on top of that, try to say that somebody was saying something to you, lies about you. Ain't nobody lying. It's all in the thread, because none of us invited that type of discussion. None of us was even having a discussion about the fact that he was even the predator conversation or the sexual conversation. That never came up. He brought it up. It's disgusting. Disgusting.
All right. Let me go ahead and get to Trouble. Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, Sotomayor, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, let me take my Bluetooth off.
Yeah, you kind of low though. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you better.
Okay, word. So I agree with everything Relative stated, 100, 100, 100, 100, especially about both of the Tommy clowns. White supremacy, as I said earlier, doesn't separate itself, and they pretty much stay on code. And I think in reference to the military, what white folks are really doing is, with all of this immigration stuff coming into play, you know, they both parties know what they're doing, and it's just as Rella stated that it was when it comes to both parties. And so that causes a lot of confusion, and it causes a lot of,
well, we've got a lot of fights to front, so it causes a lot of distractions. And at the same time, what white supremacy is not going to do, because they know that their numbers are dwindling, however, they still want to maintain power. And so with the military thing, it's all about asserting their power. And with all of the different conversations that's been going on, one thing that they do know is about their dwindling numbers, and their ability to be able to hold on to power is becoming more prevalent to them. So yes, you can speak the white nationalism type of talk in today's time, and you can say it openly and with conviction, because white folks are starting to feel that pressure. Whether they say it online or not, they know that a lot of their jobs is being threatened by all of the immigrant class that are now coming in. There was just a post yesterday. I think I forgot which department it was, and I don't know if any of you all probably. I know y'all probably seen that same post where they were saying that they were now going to start legally flying immigrants in under the government so that they can actually work these jobs and work them legally. And so it's not even a matter of them crossing the border now that you have the agencies that are willingly flying them in and giving them work permits to work. So that's going to take away a whole lot of jobs. But at the end of the day, white supremacy wants to hold on to its power. And so if we can still talk that talk, and we can talk it openly on CNN, and get all of those other like minds who are listening, that dog whistle, not dog whistle on board, we can still hold on power while still being able to bring in a certain class of people that we could pay less. It's a signal to the elites as well. As far as the other degenerate in the space, there's like all of the women have said, there's nothing new about his platform. I noticed several weeks ago when he first started coming into our spaces what he was doing, and I noticed it then. I never spoke or anything, but it was about him seeing what it was that we were talking about, so that he could then take those conversations and those talking points and build on it, because cooning is big business in today's time. So he was going from space to space, because he even went in LaFarmer's space and jumped on, grabbed the mic, and then he hit at LaFarmer about his children being heard in the background, and him hitting on him as a man and a father, and telling him, where his children should be, and should have been with the women, and blah, 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 blah. Well, LaFarmer, in natural LaFarmer fashion, set that ass in its right spot. And, very good. Very, very well. He cleared him really nice. Very nicely. As far as him being a man and a father and what that looked like.
Seen Jersey too, by the way.
Something Tommy obviously has no clue on, when it comes to being a black father. So I thought that was very interesting. But what I've noticed in a lot of the spaces that I've seen that Tommy has entered in, the things that he always comes to say in defense of himself is, can't none of y'all match my bank account. He brings into his bank account. He leans on his house, and he leans on his unwashed pink. And when you have to do those things, it's not as glorious as it seems, because anybody with a large bank account and a large peen don't have to brag on it, because baby, it's in the foot. It's something that other people brag about. When you got a big peen, everybody else who done had that peen and done seen that peen gonna do the bragging for you. If you got to brag on your own peen and your own bank account, the baby, it ain't as big as glorious as you said it was. There's something missing in it. So that's a whole nother thing. But what's dangerous about Tommy is because even though he's not on YouTube, and we don't have to give him any space, because he doesn't want us to give him air to breathe. I mean, we're giving that to him right now by just discussing him. This will be one of the last times that we have to discuss him. But the dangerous thing about him is the fact that he is willing to take it a whole lot further than all of these other coons who come from the tether class, and even some of our own class of people who talked dirty about black women or black people or black culture culture as a whole, because he's willing to give them exactly what they want by the black bitch this and the black being that and the you men, you thugs and you. I mean, he goes all the way in and he goes hard on it, and it's so natural, nasty, and it's so disgusting. And I be sitting there listening. I was listening to him last night, like, oh my God, like to strike him down now. Where the hell is the drop squad? We need drop squads all over this mug, because some people need to come up missing. They need to come up missing and need to get their mind right. I'm listening to this brother and I'm thinking about the movie Get Out. Like, oh wow, like somebody just totally went and surgically removed his brain and replaced it with a white brain and just white thought process, because you are dangerous. You are extremely dangerous, because you are the type of black person that empowers white folks, and he knows it, and he doesn't care, because we have selfish people among us who are out for themselves, and they want the bank account, and they want to be seen in a certain light. When you care more about your bank account than you care about your people, you're dangerous. You're extremely dangerous, and I just wanted to say that I got to get back up on this road. But thanks, Tota, for allowing me to come back and say my piece. I calm myself down a little bit, and I'm feeling pretty good now. So,
All righty. We're going to get to the last three hands for the night, y'all. We're going to keep in about 3 minutes. Rivera, I see you was able to get up here, and you're a new speaker, so I want to go ahead and get you. We're going to be closing the space out here in just a second, guys. So I want to thank everybody once again for coming up tonight. Let me go ahead and get to Rivera, and I'm going to get to Wilson, and then I'll get to you, Rella, and then those are going to be the last three speakers for the night, y'all. So let me go ahead and get to Rivera. How you doing? And Rivera, thank you for your signing up as well too on Twitter. Definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. That was just $3. That's not to take away from it, but that's not a big deal. We all should be able to put in a little $3. It's not going to hurt us. Accountability check. I was following Tom for a little bit. I heard about him, Tariq thing where he called him crispy. I know they had these little spouts, but I'm hearing a lot of other stuff. And then I had seen some stuff that he had posted, and I was like, I had to unfollow that. What he posted, man. So a friend of mine had told me about him way back in the day, like 2008, way back in the day. And he had a lot of videos concerning black people. And I had watched some stuff that he had. It was kind of to the effect of this guy named, I had to start watching him, Minister Jap. You guys know who that guy is. He calls black women pit bulls and German shepherds. I had to stop messing with him. There's another little dude. Well, you got the fresh and fit dudes, tethers. I didn't know the dude was a tether or any of those dudes were tethers till y'all brought it up. And it's a myriad of these dudes who do this stuff. But the one thing that concerned me about, I guess, to focus back on time, somebody showed me a video of him attacking a black woman. Back in I'm hearing these other stories, but there was an old video from maybe 2010, 2011. And he had gotten into a car incident. I don't know if he was being followed by this lady or the lady had crashed. He threatened this lady bodily harm or something. When I had seen that today, that kind of sealed the deal for me on him. Like, oh no, man, I think that, if you got somebody like that, it's best to just ignore him. He's already put up an Indian flag. He's going to try to troll you. I've seen a lot of stuff. I'll give you an example right now. I just banned myself. Literally in the last 30 minutes, I didn't ban myself, but I got myself a nice 11-hour jail time on Twitter because Israel Asani is, trending, right? And he had made a post about the dude that white people, and I got triggered because didn't this nigga just less than a year ago say that white people say nigga, Joe Rogan? I made a post, and I wasn't thinking. He was addressing the white boy, and I said that, Africa is for the Moors. Since you want to say white people, just say niggas. Yeah, they the real niggas. He's the first African. He's gonna win the championship. He's the real nigga, and you a piece of shit ass Nigerian. And I just went on this tirade, and immediately hit Twitter blocked my ass. So it's best we ignore Tommy or report his page whenever he says the bullshit. I've noticed that I had to block him because randomly stuff is just coming up on my feed from this dude. Same thing with Israel, Alessandro, or whatever the dude's name is. I had to block his ass too. It's just best to ignore that shit unless you can come at it at a way where you can respectfully do it and not get Twitter jail time. So, if it's gonna trigger you, it's gonna bother you, I would say just block them. But if you got something respectful to say back to him and you can beat him at his own game without cussing him out, that's where you really get it. I've noticed that. It's either taking them off the app where they got all those followers, or you beat them at their own game. You get people that following him now following you because what you said made more sense than what he said. So that's all I had to say. That goes for anybody on this app. Because we're trolls for the most part. And I'm one of them. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Y'all have to do it.
All right, appreciate that. He already blocked me. We got into it the other day, so he went ahead and blocked me, and I just went ahead and blocked him as well too. He was talking about coming on his platform, and I gave him the heads up. I like, you can come on this platform and we can get it in, and he wasn't trying to hear that. So yeah, he went ahead and he blocked me, and I just went ahead and blocked him as well too. So you're right. I'm not gonna waste time with this dude, but he did the stuff that he was posting, the spaces he was having, it needed to be said tonight. I know some people's like, well, no. He's putting this stuff out. He's talking about black people in general. He's sitting up having reparation spaces with a bunch of white folks sitting in there who already are dead set against it. And he's sitting up in there talking about you stop begging white folks basically for reparations and this and that. So no, we was gonna address it, and that's one thing I'm gonna let everybody know. When I see something that I see fit to address, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna talk about it. Now, everybody may have a difference of opinion on it, but me personally, I'm gonna talk about it. Now, I can't say what's gonna go on in these other spaces or whatever and this and that, because trust me, that's why I say you need to go to newstoter.com daily, because we put out the content. We can't cover everything in the Twitter space. Just can't. It's just impossible. If I held 10 Twitter spaces a day, I couldn't cover all the content that's coming on that site. So, we pick and choose what we're going to talk about. And he was the one, and he's been on Twitter, and he's been saying a lot of dumb stuff. So he needs to be addressed, and he needs to be talked about, because he's constantly sitting up here. He's trying to gain favor and trying to get a new flock of people coming in as well too. So he's been in some of these black spaces. I think Black Alpha ran him out of his space, and a couple other people ran him up out of the space as well too. So yeah, we gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna sit up here and hold spaces in this guy.
You know why? Because he's a pedophile.
Yeah, well,
Let's be honest about shit.
Well, Dom, hold on, Don. Hold on. I wasn't in the Black Alpha them space, but I don't know if that came up or whatever. But I just know that they said that they pretty much ran him up out of there. So he was talking stupid. I don't know if they got into that or whatever, but like I said, I don't know all about all of that. But I'm just saying, from what I know about him, I know that he loves the coon. I can't speak on anything. If I don't know something for a fact, I can't speak on that, but I know that he coons a lot. So because he does coon, and because he does trash black people, namely women, but black people in general as well too, he trashes them on a regular. That's why, we went ahead and held this space, and I put him in here with Tommy Tuberville for a reason, because they basically like two peas in the pod. One may have less melanin than the other one, but it's not a big difference between them. So that's why I want to go ahead and talk. But let me go ahead. I'm gonna get to Wilson, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get to Rella, and then we, like I say, real quick, and then we're gonna end the space for the night. So go ahead, Wilson.
One thing that I would like to see from you, Newstoter, and all the hosts like Irie, there needs to be a meeting of all of you host leaders to collectively block him from all of your spaces. I think most of them are black men. I think all of you, if you are standby on your square to protect us, if you appreciate our intelligence and what we add to your room, then I think you need to put your money where getting rid of him and anyone else that collectively doesn't do anything but anger. And you know, and I think that's very, and I'm surprised I have not heard that from you or anybody else about that. You need to stand on your square. If you really do appreciate the women in this room and the women that do, contribute something. He is, from what I'm hearing, again, didn't know anything about him until I, I was in the room yesterday. I was looking at all these texts and
You breaking up, Wilson. You breaking up.
Okay, so I'm just this stuff. So at the end of the day, I would like to hear a commitment from you. I'm going to go into Iris' spot and I'm going to ask him the same thing.
What?
And I don't know if there's anybody else that you said that he has been blocked from. We all need to just collectively get rid of him.
Well, real quick, Wilson, let me go ahead and address that, because like I say, he's already blocked from me. You know, he blocked me and I blocked him. So I don't have any control over the other spaces and how people handle their spaces, but he's already blocked because I went in on him. So
but Newstoter, listen, and I know that. But as a man, and you have, I'm not sure if you're married, whatever, as a man, okay, he's blocked from your space. I'm not telling you to go into anybody else's space. You must. But I think you can go in there and step to like Irie and say, hey man, I heard what happened with you, and this is what he's doing to the women. This is what his goal is. We need to collectively block him. I'm just putting it out there. I would like to see you do that. And this is how, when we ask you men to step the fuck up, this is what we're asking. Step up. Like, step up. We're not telling you to still do not have him in his hey, we got to protect some intelligent, dynamic systems. And they're being triggered by a predator. That's what I'm saying. And honestly, if you want to continue to get money and stuff like that, we need to see you do some work. And that's it. I leave it like that. Okay,
hold on, sister. And I appreciate you and everything else too, but let's go ahead and give credit where credit's due. Okay, and I'm not talking about Irie, and I'm not talking about Black Alpha, and I'm not talking about these other spaces, but let's give credit where credit's due. I called the brother out. I addressed the brother. I challenged the brother man to man to come up here and be a man and stand on his square and come up in this space, and let's get it. Hold on, sister. That's one thing we got to learn about too. Now I'm talking. I didn't cut you off. I know. I just said that's wonderful. Yeah, hold on. Let me finish speaking though. That's one.
Let him talk. Let him cook.
Yeah. Now I went ahead, like I say, and I challenged this brother, and I told him to go ahead. This brother, when he was talking to another man, he couldn't take it. He went ahead and he said, you know what? I ain't dealing with this right here. Let me go ahead and block him. In return, I went ahead and I blocked him as well too. So, I did what I was supposed to do as a man. I went ahead and I blocked this dude, and I went ahead and I'm airing him out as well too. I can talk to the other brothers as well too, but I can't make them. Now we talk about standing on our square. As a man, I did that. A man can only be responsible really for a man. You can say and you can do other stuff as well too, but let's be for real. I went ahead and I did this. Is the only control I have. I have no control over YouTube or over Twitter, period. Only thing I have control over is Newstoter. And I ain't got nothing to do with Tommy Sotomayor. And after the night, I'm definitely not gonna hold another space on the dude as well either. So I'm just being honest. I went ahead and I did what I had to do. So the whole thing that you're not, and that we got to kind of chill on that. We're not protecting Black women type stuff as well too, because we're not doing anything in this space we're not doing anything to endanger Black women in this space. I'm gonna be real. Now I see you putting your thumbs down. You might not like what I'm saying, but hey, that's how it is. I ain't endangered any Black woman up in this space. When they come up in this space, they know that they can go ahead and say what they want to say and do whatever they want to do. And we're not letting people just come up in here. He ain't come up in this space and was down in Black women and saying this and that or whatever. I can promise you that. And matter of fact, no Black woman can sit up here and say that we let Black men come up in this space and just call y'all out y'all name and we just sat there and we didn't do anything and we just let them go in and this and that or whatever. So I get what you're saying. I know you didn't like what I said because you started putting your thumbs down. But at the same time, I might say something that you may not well like as well either. But I'm gonna talk to you like a man. Hold on, sister, because you keep cutting me off now. I didn't say anything. Yeah, sister, but yeah, I'm saying this is what we're talking about, a level of respect. Now, as a black woman, you want respect, but as a black man, you're not willing to give me respect and let me sit up here and talk as the host in this space. You sitting up here and you just directly challenge me and other black men to go out there and protect black women. And as I'm sister, you keep cutting me off, you know, and I've never been one to cut you off in this space. I've never came off my microphone and repeatedly cut you off. Never. You can never come in this space and say, you know what? Every time I tried to talk, Newstoter was cutting me off. I have never, ever cut you off and just stopped you from speaking. And this is the level of respect right here. Now you're giving me a thumb down because, hey, basically I'm not agreeing with everything that you want to hear. Like I said, this dude here, from the point I went ahead and we created this space and we went in here and this and that or whatever. He wasn't even a topic last night. We had already blocked each other. Before this was yesterday. Me and this dude got into it. We had already blocked each other. So we had nothing to do with each other. You're sitting up here saying what we need to do and this and that. And I'm saying, well, hey, you know what? I've already done that. I've already challenged this dude as a man to come up here. And he ain't want none of it. He ain't want none of it whatsoever. But you know what? I'm going to let you, because I see you being disrespectful. So I'm going to let you get up here on the microphone. Since you being disrespectful, Wilson, I'm gonna let you come up here and get on the microphone. Now I can do as my grandma and them used to say, and I can show my color as well, like the old timers say as well too. But I'm gonna give you more respect than you just gave me as a black man up in this space. Because I can show my color up in here as well too.
Everybody in another room what to do when you come in the room to. But it would be comforting to know that at least all of you men, all of the hosts get together and collectively block him, because that's what he needs. That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. That's all. I know that you did it here. That's wonderful. That's what you're supposed to do as a person of your caliber. All I'm saying to you is, it would be comforting to know that, you know, all of you in all these other rooms collectively get together and block him. That's all I'm saying.
Well, how do you know that all of us in these other rooms even get along with each other? This is Twitter. This is social media. How do you know that me and the other co-hosts, I'm cool with Irie, but how do you know our relationship between me and the other co-hosts? This is Twitter, and this is Black Twitter too. And there's a bunch of people that you may be following that can't stand me, and vice versa. I can't stand them as well too. So how do you know that we all get along to the point that we can even work together?
Well, then what is the point of moving forward with anything for Black people? We have a chance, even if we don't agree with one another. We're moving in one. We have a couple of concerns that are unified, and one of them would be this, for example, that if we can't step above someone who doesn't like you, and really have one common goal to crush, then what's the point? What is the point?
Then you work with the people that you have a relationship with. You know, I could probably holler at Irie and maybe a couple other people, but there's a bunch of people that hold these spaces that I don't rock with and that I'm not going to approach because I don't like them and they don't like me. And as a man, I'm just saying, and this is on some man stuff right here. If I don't like them and I don't rock with them, I'm damn sure not going to go grovel to them and tell them, hey, you know what? Let's work together. It's already been understood that you don't dig me and I don't dig you. And that's all it is to it. Straight up, on the strength of me.
That's fine. We don't care. That's fine. Whatever.
No, he told you the rule right there. Why don't you listen to that? Why didn't you understand what he said?
Why don't you mind your business? I'm not talking to you.
Then fuck you then, nigga.
Fuck you, nigga. Wait a minute. Bitch ass motherfucker. Shut the fuck up.
Now I had to remove Don. I had to remove you. Don, I gotta
that right there. I gotta put you down and
yeah, I gotta remove you, Don. Yeah, I gotta you my boy Don, but you can't sit up here and just say that. Rella, go ahead and unmute your mic. Like I said, we're gonna be getting up out this space in a second.
So
before you talk real quick, hey, I know you're about to close, but obviously you see our folks is coming up, but it's up to you. Go ahead,
Rella.
I understood, and I think you understood what Will Wilson said, and I understand her frustration. But I want to make this clear. You know, Newstoter was the one. Newstoter reached out to me after he saw that threat. He reached out to me on my phone, and I will never say that he's never not. I would say never not. You know, stood up and made it clear. But I think what Wilson is also saying is that this is the end game. And I remember in the movie, in the end game, and I said this before in another space, the Hulk came back from outer space and was telling Doctor Strange, and he was telling Tony Stark, because Tony Stark was like, I don't talk to Captain America no more. You know, we on bad terms. And the Hulk was like, it really don't matter whether or not you like somebody or not, because if the world about to end, that's not even going to matter. And then to your point, maybe because we're not at that precipice and people don't see it as that the collective of men behind the scenes, even if you don't want to make it known and vocalize it, you know, profess it in public, that Black men will not stand for, because I've heard at least our brothers say that they wouldn't stand for, at least the ones I know I've heard it from, and it's not many. I can count on my hand that hold spaces that they've said it. They don't tolerate the disrespect of our people and our Black women. And I know I've heard you say that, Newstoter. However, at the end of the day, that is not some of the conditions, even to some people who are in our space. And I want to say this because, and caution to say, if the collective is to move forward, you're going to always hear us, the people in our space and in real life, vocalize, we don't stand for the degeneracy of anyone talking about Black men who we've known and seen do work, who we've known and heard are building. The shield will always be up for you. The protection of our bodies will always be up for you, because we are developing that level of respect. So in Wilson's frustration, I get it, because there is a underlying belly issue that some people just don't get, that they give off. And Tommy Sotomayor brings that out. His type brings that out in people. It brings that out in people, and it can become like kryptonite and destroy the rest of the world. It'll destroy the rest of the community, because you got people who follow that rhetoric and they believe in what he's saying, because again, they carry those same beliefs. That's dangerous. So if you can't vocalize and stand on your square and tell it what it is and say how you feel, then okay then. Just don't put me in no harm's way. I'm not saying you did, but what DJ did, that was harmful, because that dude came into the conversation and he did disrespect me and Trouble and the other females that were tagged in that post. And the part that was hurtful is the fact that TJ never even shut him down, even when he made the comment. He said, dude, I know you've been off Twitter for a long time. Let me get you caught up. Get him caught up on what? Get him caught up on what? We've been down 10 toes in this conversation, on and off Twitter, in the fight for reparations and trying to develop community. Tommy Sotomayor don't even give a shit about building a Black platform. So to me, there's nothing that he could actually give us, or you could give him, because that's not his stitch. His stitch is making money off of Black pain and horror and hatred. And if he can find that little seed in you, all he got to do is say, we know you don't like these Black bitches. Come give me your money. Cha-ching. We know you don't like these thugs, these badass children that they be having out of wedlock. Cha-ching. Sit on white platforms just degrading our babies. He was degrading the Baltimore mom for going out there and getting her son from being accosted by the daggone police, and he said, "Well, because you know she got a bunch of kids by a bunch of black men." All I can think is, her children are a blessing, and second of all, it is the duty of our government to repair the harms that they've committed against us. But no, this fool right here want to tell white people otherwise. And when Don said that he was the arbiter of getting someone unalived, yeah, imagine 10, 20 men like him with that same type of voice influencing other groups of people to come and harm us. That's dangerous.
Rella, real quick, because I'm no taxation, because I definitely got to run, but let me let no taxation go real quick. And then I got to go ahead and close this space down for the night because I need to go ahead and take care of something.
Hey, everybody in the room, News, DJ, Professor, the host, the co-host, everybody here. I didn't come in earlier, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you can only take in so much negativity before it dampens your spirit. And so here's the only thing that I want to say, and I don't know what went on in the room. I don't know who said what. I wasn't in the room. I just got it. But I just came to say this because I knew you was going to close out because you usually do before 11. There is no difference. Hear me, people. There is no difference between Tommy Sotomayor and Tommy Tuberville. There is no difference. If there's going to be any difference, the difference would be that Tommy Tuberville is sitting on Capitol Hill. So that makes him slightly more dangerous. Slightly. But there is absolutely no difference between the two. And I'm going to say this, and I want you all to really, really get this and understand this and leave this space with this, what I'm getting ready to say. They're both enemies of the people. They are both enemies of the people, and they both seek our demise. There's no difference between the two. I don't listen to Tommy Sotomayor. I heard him when he first came out, and he was over there on YouTube. I never knew him on Twitter. But I heard him on YouTube one time, and that was this was years ago. That was the only time I ever listened to him because people were talking about it and I wanted to hear what he had to say. Anytime you have an enemy of the people that seeks your demise and you feed into it, you listen to it, and you take it into your spirit and in your soul, it's going to work. What they are planning for your destruction is going to work because you feed into it. You can't give it light, and you can't take it into your spirit. You cannot. They are both enemies of the people, and there is no difference between them. And I just want you all to understand that. So when you make your next move, whether you go over there and listen to Tommy Sotomayor or read what Tommy Tuberville said, okay? Either one. Just know what you're taking into your spirit. They seek your demise. And that's all I have to say.
All right, y'all. I'm not going to go ahead and keep this thing open too much longer because, like I said, I got to definitely go ahead and close it out. But we will be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, thank you to the co-hosts, the speakers, the listeners. Thank you to everybody who came up in the space as always and made this a great space tonight. I definitely appreciate everybody. Like I say, same time as always, guys, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely the notifications, y'all make sure y'all go ahead and retweet that out as well, too, man. If y'all see that, go ahead and tweet it out for me as well. So just so we can get a bigger reach as possible. Go ahead, DJ, real quick.
Nah, next space. That's all.
Okay. So DJ got a space coming up next, guys. So let me go ahead and let you guys run. I will see y'all tomorrow night. Once again, thank you so much. Great space as always. And I appreciate everybody up in the space, and everybody be safe and have a good night.
Good night. Bring the energy to the dead space.
Most single.